I'm live, okay? Okay, I'm live. Yippee-yay. Hey, Tim, how's it going? Happy Sunday morning, I guess. I have to get my mind into the idea of speak softly, Bill. It's an ASMR channel. You know, when I was setting up this morning, I got actually kind of butterflies, you know? Like, I don't know where that came from, but, you know, okay. Get my hair out of the way. All right. So how are you today, Tim? According to this, there's nobody there, but you're there apparently. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about this YouTube thing. Um, so I have the typical assortment of stuff, the brush and the little cannabis jar, which seems to be fairly popular. And also I have it set up so I could do Code Breaker again as well. So that's going to be kind of the plan for this morning, I think. But we'll see how it goes. Underheat Records, good morning. Well, it's morning where I am anyway. It's, you know, just after 9. How's the audio? I hope it's good. I mean, it's been good mostly lately, so I'll trust that I've managed to keep it set up properly. Still too hot. I just brewed myself a cup of tea and okay. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the gameplay version. Oh, you know what I need to see here? Docs. Where is, oh, there it is, chat. Okay, there we go. All right. Hey, thank you. I'm glad it sounds good. All right, so now that I've got that going, let's put on the game bit. All right. Are you guys okay with it like this, or should I move this into dark mode? I mean, you guys get to decide since you're the first ones here. Well, I'm going to leave it like this for the moment, and if it's too annoying, let me know and I'll switch it into the dark mode. Yeah, it's typical whatever. I will start with the easy but inefficient mode. There we go. So red is in fact in the puzzle. All right, now let's add orange. And orange is in the puzzle. Okay. So we'll just stick it here for the moment. And again, I'm sure you guys have heard me say this before, but just since it's my habit to say so, even though I kind of fill in from left to right, just because, you know, that's the way I read, that's the way I fill in this thing here. I've been okay, I think, Tim. I mean, for the most part, for, you know, a guy who's 58 and, you know, all my various ills and ails, but, you know, that stuff aside, I'm pretty good. How about yourself? Let's see if my tea has cooled off enough. And you guys are going to have to remind me, just because my memory is lousy, as to where you guys are from and what time it is and all that. I mean, you don't have to share if you don't want to, but I'm sort of a nosy guy, right? So I am curious. Let's see what I get from here. Okay, so we know that red is where it is because it has to be, right? Because that's where it was in this line. Orange has to be among these 4, but it can't be correct there because then the white referring to yellow doesn't work, right? You get a contradiction. So we'll put orange. Let's move it over 1. There you go. And I will keep yellow over here, I guess, for the moment. Okay, here we go. Mr. Brickley, it's 5:05 p.m. at the moment. At the p.m., so you guys are way ahead of me. Have I ever read philosophy from 2009 Crota? Yeah, not in a long time. I mean, I've taken some philosophy courses and the like, and I used to read out of curiosity, many years ago. I have a bad memory, so I wouldn't be the guy to ask to speak on such topics. I mean, I sort of assimilated information out of what I've read into my own perspective, so I could talk about that. But yeah, I'm not an authority on anything other than my own freaking opinion, So there you go. Mateo, ciao. Hello, how are you? Boring long document. Well, I'm glad you could make it, Mateo. Philip, hey Philip, how are you? That's right, you're in the UK, right on, yeah. So 8 hours ahead, basically. I always think of it as 9 to 5, right? Because, I don't know, it just amuses me to think so. And 6 in Denmark, right? Because you're Central Europe, so an hour ahead of the UK. Oh, right, I forget you're in Washington, Tim. Yeah. So, it's going to be forever before I can keep track of where everybody is. Again, it's not, it's my issue for just being an oddball. Since we're talking and chatting for the moment, I'm going to switch this back to the non-gaming version of the scene thing here so I can just see what's happening. Okay. Oh, well, thank you for thinking that my thoughts are valuable. Oh, you know what? Since we are here and everybody, well, not everybody, I'm going to give it a few more minutes before I set the timer off just because, I'd like it to be, a good, I don't know. I'll see if it says there's 17 people here currently, so I'll see if it goes up from that in a few minutes. If it does, well, I'll just give it a few more minutes. I'll probably wait till a quarter after or something. Anyway, let me see what's going on. Up. And Tim. Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna have some more tea. I don't know why, but I'm dragging ass this morning. I don't know, Okay. Hey, Reclaimer Rob. Static X. I'm unfamiliar with Static X. I hope you enjoyed the show, though. It's good that people get out and do live shows. I haven't been in a long time. Aloha, Sean. Glad you could make it. Okay, I'm going to go back to the gaming thing here for a minute, just because why not? Let's see, where was I at? Right, so right, so red is there, yellow is one of these three, so I'm just choosing there, and I'm moving the orange one over. So that's where we're at here. Okay. And, okay, so which one of them's right, and two of them are in, but not, so I know green is in the puzzle anyway. All right. Red is there. All right, what am I going to do here? I'm going to choose yellow for whatever reason. And then I'm going to move orange one over. And that would put yellow in, or excuse me, green in the spot that it didn't occupy before. And now we're looking for the last color. So I'll start with the light blue, see what that gets me. Yikes, so I chose it badly, so it's not the yellow. It's one of the others. So I'm going to try that it was, oops, come on. I'm going to try that it was green that was correct. And that would mean orange. We'll go all the way over here to the end. Yellow will be one of these other two. And we'll try the dark blue, see what that gets us. All right, so I'm thinking I have to switch the dark blue and the yellow. Let me fill these in here real quick, and then I will explain my reasoning for that. Because I just have to flip two, right? Well, the orange isn't going to flip back because that was white, right? And the green, if it flipped with blue, that wouldn't make sense. And if it flipped with yellow, it wouldn't make sense because yellow was never in that spot. And back in this line, we deduced that yellow had to be in one of these three. So I'm going to say that that means that the yellow has to go here, and the dark blue has to go there. And what do you know, UVIA. Let's see where we're at. Hey, Jordan, how are you this morning? Well, morning for me, anyway. Any plans for this summer? You know, Tim, well, yeah, most of the plans I have for the summer aren't, you know, fun summertime plans. They're stuff to be done around the house to help my dad with, you know, just things that need to be doing. And you know, there's a limited amount of things I can do because of my back. But so because of that limitation, I try to do as much as I can of the things that I can do. And some of it's to do with my own space, like as I live, I think I've told you guys that I have an issue with the back wall is actually where I'm underground, right? And because of, well, I'm partially underground because the house is on a hill, and I remodeled what was the garage / basement space. And so my back wall is like almost 3/4 underground, and my back wall is actually the back foundation of the house. And it's not waterproof really, so there's little cracks here and there in the cement from just age, you know, and water comes through when there's heavy rains. And I mean, it's just water, but I don't want water on my floor because sometimes it's actually quite a bit of water. And so my last effort at doing things is I found some sealant stuff to put in the cracks and whatnot, and it worked pretty well. But there's still seeping in little cracks, so I'm gonna take another run at. Actually, I think I'm just gonna buy enough of the sealant stuff with some of my YouTube money, actually, to just cover that whole section of wall where the cracks are, and hopefully that'll just fix the issue, so I don't have. Yeah, I just don't want water on my floor. So that's gonna get done. And there's some yard work that I'm going to help my sister with because she's kind of the green thumb human in the house. And because we've all been busy with our various issues, there's just a lot of stuff that needs like trimming back. And she wants to plant some stuff in the front yard, which I'm actually fully on board. I've kind of gotten caught up in the idea of it with her. So that kind of stuff. I don't know. If I suddenly come into a bunch of money, I'd love to travel, but you know, you know, yeah, travel's expensive. Okay, what time is it actually? Okay, it's almost 1/4 after. And how many people do we have here? Let me do a quick check on that. Let me get back over to here. Okay, there's almost 20 of us. So I'm going to go ahead and click off the timer so that I can keep it down to a reasonable time so that my back doesn't screw me up. Yeah, I am very close with my family. We've always been a very close family. I mean, when I was a kid, there was these two kids that were brothers that lived down the street and around the corner from us that we knew from school. And then there's me and my sister, and so the four of us were always hanging out together. But otherwise, it was me and my sister, like, you know, me and my sister against the world kind of thing. She's 3 years younger than me, so I was always a little bit protective of her, but I think that's natural. We sort of drifted apart in our teen years because, you know, differences change and, you know, and that kind of thing. And yeah, or I guess I should say interests change, not necessarily interests change and they become differences. And of course, as any siblings, we occasionally had our tiffs and rows. But we're still close as adults. Yeah, even for a while, well, there's a lot of reasons for it that are kind of complicated. I won't go into all of, but for a good number of years, I lived in the, as adults when she had children, I lived in the same apartment complex to her, actually next door. So that was actually pretty cool. Because we would hang out occasionally. If I wasn't going out anywhere, I would, you know, we would just hang out either in my apartment or her apartment, and, you know, I got to see her kids all the time. And at the time, that's when I was actually doing the computer thing, so I had disposable income, as it were, and I liked spoiling my nieces and nephew. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just a fun thing. Yeah, okay, I'm going to kick off another roundo code breaker here. I am open to playing something else too, like Sokoban or Sudoku, if somebody would prefer I did something like that. And I guess I could do like Octoral or something too, because it has what they call practice. So you know what I mean. Actually, maybe I'll do that in a bit. I'll play a couple more games of this, and then I'll switch over to Octoral because it's kind of in dark mode anyway by default. And then in a little while I'll break out the brush and the jar and make some noises, etc. Okay, we have orange. Yay, orange. Now let's introduce the yellow. I suppose I should throw in a whisper now and again, shouldn't I? And over here to this side too. Okay, since they're both yellows, we know that at least they're both in the puzzle, but since yellow can't be in any of those 4 spots, it has to be where orange is now. So we'll put it there, and then I'll just move the orange over one, and then I'll stick in the green, and see what that gets us, and then I'll check out, I just saw the corner of my eye, another comment came in, so let me go address that thing here. Okay, you know, let me, since you've indicated a certain interest or whatever, lock enter, I will, after this game of this, I'll switch over to Octoral for a minute. Okay, the yellow's over here. And again, since I'm looking at these 4 spaces here, it's the same kind of thing. Both the whites have to refer to these. Since the green can't go in those 3, it means it has to go where the orange is now, just like the yellow did before. So the green has to be there. That will now be a black peg. And I will move orange along and see what that gets us. You know, I kind of like it when it turns into these weird, where it just gets lucky like that, because you get these weird kind of slanty patterns with the orange. And I don't know, I just like it when it turns out to make interesting patterns. Okay, again, it really is just turning out that way, isn't it? That's fun. Okay, so the yellow's here. And we know that the green is there. And again, since I'm just dealing with these last 3 spaces, and they're both white pegs, it means the blue can't go here. It has to go where the orange is now. So move it over, and move the orange over one, and let's introduce the dark blue. And what do you know? That was very lucky. Now let's see where I got with the comments here. Okay, so Jordan, oh, okay, you'd like the, you know, I think I'm going to, you know, because I think I'm going to swap out. What do I mean by that? Well, let me finish reading your comment, and I'll tell you what I mean. Oh, yeah, you know, when you do, like, I like solitaire in the sense that it's a good kind of peaceful solitary thing to do. But yeah, so back to my concept of the solitaire thing, because a couple of people have also indicated an interest in me redoing or revisiting, because I did a video a long time ago where I kind of talked about and sort of did where I played backgammon with myself, where I played both sides, and of course trying to be not favor one side or the other, just always trying to make the best move. And I'm going to revisit that, but I think I'm going to turn the gameplays as they exist now into something that I only do rarely, because the truth is I was just looking at my analytics and stuff, because I've kind of did a slide. For a while my channel was growing pretty nicely, and then now it's not that it's declined in stuff like subscribers, but it's not growing anymore, and so I've kind of plateaued into a weird stagnation level. And I was looking at, because of that, I was looking at the analytics, or trying to look at it and kind of learn how to use them better. But the gameplays don't perform that well as far as videos, which makes me think, okay, not that many people are really into them, which I hope it's not too disappointing for the people who do like them. But so I'm going to kind of put them to, they're going to be rarer, but so I'm going to, in their place, I'm going to try to make a regular feature of doing the solitaire or backgammon, and I'll kind of just flip-flop back and forth between those two things, and see how that goes. There's one of the dogs is barking. It sounds like Leo, he's a little terrier chihuahua type mix kind of thing. Yeah, anyway, he's a bit of a mutt, but he's a tiny dog that yaps a lot. Actually, his bark isn't so much a yap, but yeah, anyway, he barks at just about anything. Okay, so let's go to Tim. Tim says, what's a period of my life so far? Tim, I can't answer that, I don't think, in the way that you are hoping I would answer. I can't pick one being any better over the others, because each decade had things that I really liked about it, and then things that I didn't like about it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was a kid during the 70s. That was because I was born in 65, so from 5 to 15, right, is the 70s, and then from 15 to 25 is the 80s, and so on, etc. So I liked being a kid. I had a lot of fun. I think there's things that I got to do as a kid that kids don't get to do anymore, because there's a bigger concern for safety and stuff, which on one hand I think is okay, but I think it's kind of an overreaction, because I got hurt a lot, but it wasn't life-shattering hurt. It was just because kids go do stupid things, and then you bang your knee up and you get bruised and whatever, and that kind of thing. But I think it's kind of a learning experience to be in the world and doing things like climb trees and ride a dirt bike and go off jumps and do stupid things on a skateboard and the like. Clearly you do things like make a kid wear a helmet and the like, but yeah, anyway, so I like the 70s for that stuff, but there was frustrations I had with the 70s, because I didn't care for school so much. Well, there's an exception to that. During 5th and 6th grade I liked, and I'll talk about that someday, but otherwise I didn't really care for school. Similar to the 80s, but then I became an adult in the 80s too, right? Late teens and early adulthood, and there's pluses and minuses to that. You see what I'm getting at? So there's so I don't know that I could really single one decade out to be the best. There's just things that I liked about each one, and I don't really separate my life up in conceptually in decades. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, anyway, so I am sorry if that doesn't really fit what you were expecting, Tim, but that's that. Oh, hang on, the comments are going faster than I'm responding, so let me scroll up a little bit. Here, I'm going to do this real quick too, since I'm doing comments more. Let's put this there and go back to here. All right, that's it. Should switch over. Now I can look at the comments better, I guess. Okay. All right, so where am I at over here? All right. Okay. Oh, well, thanks for the compliment, Ahmed. I hope I said that even close to properly. Studio Martini says, greetings from Brazil. Well, greetings back to you. Let's see, Reclaimer says, oh, okay. To get good at the game, it's hard for me to answer that, Ahmed, because I learned how to play the physical game of Mastermind when I was a kid. My dad was very much into logic and puzzle games, So like we played that when I was very young. We played Othello a lot when I was young. He taught me to play Go, which I kind of could play, but I won't claim to have been good at it, you know what I mean? Just because it's a simple game to get the basics of and understand the rules for. But it's a mofo of a game to actually be good at. There's a lot to it. It's very complicated, but at the same time super beautiful. So I mean, I guess it's due to that is why I'm good at it. And also I kind of have a mathematical, logical kind of brain. So, hey Fina, good that you could make it. Okay, so I think, well, okay, I'm glad, Tim, that's groovy. Okay, so I guess I'm going to go back to playing the game, I guess, because it looks like I'm caught up with the comments now. All right, so let's see. Let me start that off. Let me go down to here. Okay. Oh, and I cracked this one. Okay, so I had suggested that what I was going to do after solving that code breaker, I'm going to go do octortal. That's what I was going to do. And let's do, I like playing the sequence game. And let's do this here. Oh, you know what? I need to go over to here and move myself and shrink myself and move the timer, don't I? Because it's all getting covered up. So let's put that down like that. That like that. Let's shrink this up. Shrink that one up. Down like that. I think that'll work. Let me go back to the YouTube thing to make sure it's all lining up okay. Okay, looks like that will be all right. Come on. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's okay. All right. Armin 27. Hello, back to you. Okay, so let's see what well, I'm going to just briefly go over what the game is here. So if any of you aren't familiar with it, it's like Wordle. So you're just trying to guess a 5-letter word, but you're trying to do 8 of them. Now this version, and I'll play the other, there's a couple of different versions of this game on this site. This one is a sequence, so you're only working on one at a time, but all of your guesses here affect all the subsequent puzzles. So if you screw up a bad guess over here, you're going to have to deal with it over here, if that makes sense. So I'll play it, and then I think once you see it, it's pretty obvious as what's going on. Okay. So I'm kind of a creature of habit. I found some words that I believe are good words to start with, and I kind of just reuse them all the time. Oopsie daisy, I'm not in the right. Here we go. I should be here now. There we go. And it also amuses me because those are the 3 words, cushy, joint, frig. Tim asks if there's any monuments I'd like to see. You know, I'd like to see any of them, frankly. I would love to travel. I do have some things that are like bucket list things for me, which is the Grand Canyon, as far as local, or not local, but U.S. things. But there's 2 other that I really am fascinated to see, and one of them is the Alhambra. It's in, I think it's Granada in Spain, but it's this, well, castle, I guess, of sorts. It was put in when there was the Moorish Caliphate in Spain, although I guess it wasn't Spain then, but the Iberian Peninsula. And they ruled that for, well, a good long time. Anyway, it's this fantastic building, and it got taken over when, what do they call it, the Reconquista, when what ended up being Isabella and her husband, I think, are the ones that were in power when that retake took place. And the good news is it wasn't among the buildings that got destroyed, as when they took it back over from the Muslim rulers. And it's a gorgeous building. I've seen documentaries and things on it, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I would really love to see that and the Taj Mahal, which is odd that the 2 things I'm super fascinated to see are Muslim in nature from their origin of the builders. I like that there's something I'm very fascinated about if I understand Islam correctly, which I probably don't, but one aspect I think is right, is that they're not supposed to do figurative art. You know what I mean? So they're not supposed to do paintings of trees and people and stuff like that. I think it's because making those things is under the purview of Allah. Um, if somebody is Muslim and they happen to see this, put a comment in there if I'm correct. I don't know. But so subsequently, the decorations are usually script, right? So it's my understanding that in both instances, those buildings, it is lines from the Quran and I don't remember the other bodies of poetic works, etc., that kind of go along with the Quran, as far as they're, I think they're revered as holy would be the thing. But when you look at the detail of the building, you'll see that it is actually just lines of script, but the way they do it is just fantastically intricate and just gorgeous to my sense of aesthetic. Anyway, so that's why I'd love to see both of those. If I sat and thought about it, to be honest, I'd like to go to Moscow to see the Kremlin, because that's a fascinating building just from architectural style. And I'm also fascinated by cathedrals from the past. I've seen a few, like in the UK, and I don't know. I find those kind of monuments that humans have made that are like centuries old. When I was in the Netherlands, I went to see an exhibit that was a touring exhibit of some of the artifacts from Pompeii, and it was at a place in Amsterdam. I think it's called the Neukerke, which I think it just means new church. But it was like from the 13th century or something, you know what I mean? So it was called the new church because it was, I think when it was built, it was new, but it's not new anymore. You know what I mean? I get fascinated by buildings that humans have kept around for a really long time. So, yeah. So I hope that, there you go. There's my long-winded answer to that. Let's see. So what am I doing back here with the game? I'm not seeing what this is. So I'm going to put in, I also like to use plum and then waged. Upset, right? That's what that's going to be. Nope, not upset. Interesting. What is that? Drawn a blank now. Set up, maybe? There we go. So what's this one going to be? Rapid, probably, yeah? Okay. I think this is Sally, like Sally Forth. That's probably Clang. And, okay, that's going to be Vapid. So you can see how my word choices help me out as I go along in the game. At least, it's not always successful, but it's successful for a pretty high percentage of the time. Oh, interesting. What's this going to be? With the L there, so it's going to be, where's the... this one has me a little stumped. Little? Oh, that's not how you spell little. There's two T's in little, isn't there? Is whittle? Is that how you spell that? No. I was going to say elite, but that's not it either. Interesting. All right, so I'm stumped here. Okay, hang on. Let me see what Tim is saying here. Several countries. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a lot of castles in Germany to see, too, right? What was that guy? There's this one king in particular that was really fascinated with all these very ornate castles that are like, that's what the Disney based the Disneyland castle on. Hey, Natsram. Aloha. I can't remember that guy's name. Maybe he's a Ludwig or something like that, but yeah. What is this word going to be? I'm getting stumped. All right. For some reason, my brain is stuck on that it has to be ITLE. Title. There you go, Bill. What a moron. And rigid. Okay. There we go. Oh, you know, see, that sucks because it, well, that's just, it is what it is. So I'll just, well, here, you know, let me go back to here real quick. I'll move it back in. So there you can see there's the result of my, yay for me, I solved all the puzzles. So let's go do another one. Actually, you know what, let me do this. And let's try the practice of just a regular game. And let's start a new one. Let me move myself out of the way again. And move the timer out of the way again. And let's get that like that. And okay, now I'm back in this window. I think, yeah, is this going to work? Yes, there we go. So again, I start with cushy joint freak. I'm sure most of you will get, you know, why that's funny to me. And for those that don't, I don't want to, you know, I'm not interested in promoting particular activities. I mean, I think adults should be free to choose things for themselves, but I don't think it's a good idea to glamorize things that have that are potentially damaging anyway. And I don't know, I'm sure there's enough of you here that will remember, because I believe I've been pretty open about the fact that I used to be a blackout drunk, so I don't drink anymore. But so I'm kind of sensitive to the idea of, you know, there is such a thing as substance abuse, and it can, you know, any substance can really be abused. I mean, caffeine, sugar, those, you know, and of course, you know, whatever. The list goes on. Let's see where I'm at here with the comments. Oh, thanks, Notstrom. Enjoy the, you know, the background stuff, and I hope your coding goes very well. Oh, thanks, Tim. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Kremlin would be, I think, would be fantastic to see. Oh, I've already said that, haven't I? Come on, Bill, wake up. All right, so I think the sixth word is going to be chief. All right. And the third one is going to be shirt, isn't it? And I think well, you know, I'm going to put in plum. Okay, plunk is that one. Oops. And spiel will be the last one. And I think the seventh one is going to be local. Nope, it's not, so I'll come back. That's probably vocal, but let me come back to that because I only have 4 spots for 4 words, so I may have been in too much of a rush and kind of goofed myself up. I think the first one is fuzzy. Yep, there we go. I'm sorry to hear about your uncle. That's just, yeah, I mean, I suppose I got lucky, you know what I mean? You know, it was, yeah, I will say I got lucky, you know, and well, it's more than luck, right? You have to, the quitting of it is difficult, but the results of it are better. Okay, it was vocal. Okay. Okay, what's... Wow, what is... Oh, that the fourth one is vague, isn't it? Okay. And I think the second one is going to be wagon. Okay, there we go. Let me again go back to here, move myself out of the way. Like, oops, wrong one, Bill. Put that back. Okay, move myself and the timer so we can see the words, etc. And there you go. Just to give you look at that. Okay, so now let's go back to start a new one. And now I'll move myself back again with the timer. Back down here. Move this back down to there. Go like that. Come back over to here. Okay, let's see again. Cushy joint freak. And okay, the first one, oops, is a rhino. What else can we get that's pretty? Okay, so the last one is going to be something rank. So, prank maybe? Drank? Okay, so I'm going to need to sort that out in a minute. Let's see what else we have. I think the fifth word is shark. I think the fourth word is stern. What do I get over here now? Is sauna S-A-U? Yeah, what do you know? I'm drawing a blank on the third one. We'll come back to that. Let's see what else I have down here. Okay, hang on. Let me see what we have here. Tim. Oh, you know, Tim, I don't vape anymore. Well, that's not true. I do occasionally vape cannabis. But it does. I don't put it in videos for a couple of reasons. Again, I'm kind of hesitant to do the glamorization of the habit, you know what I mean? Or the whether you, maybe habit isn't the right word because I don't really do it with that much frequency. But the other thing is the devices don't make the same noise that the nicotine thing that I used did. But I was doing the vaping of nicotine because it eliminated the carcinogens of the burning of the material. But it was a pretty expensive thing, and it's nicotine is a nootropic as far as stimulating your brain in certain ways that can be beneficial. But I found being addicted to nicotine I just decided I didn't want to be addicted anymore. You know what I mean? So about the beginning of the pandemic, and part of it was a financial thing too, because it was like I got to the place that I was spending a lot of money on an expensive, vape liquids, etc. And at the time, I really didn't have the money, and so it was like, you know what, it's time to quit. I'm not happy being an addict, and it's costing a lot of money, and etc. etc. So I no longer vape. It's funny. I just got a recent comment. Somebody actually was giving me kind of a snarky, mean comment about the fact that I was vaping in one of my old videos about, I don't remember exactly what the wording was, but it was, so are you happy to destroy your lungs kind of thing or something. And it's just like, oh, come on, man. There's no reason to be, tossing shade at people like that for, whatever. Especially in that manner, because it wasn't done in anything that felt like concern or, encouragement of, changing one's life. It just seemed like, crapping on somebody because they were doing something you didn't approve of, which just bothers me. I'm not a saint or anything, but, anyway, I'll just get off that. That's too negative for today's whatnot. I'm thinking, let's see, I have 4 more to get with 6 guesses to go. I'm going to put in plum again. And okay, that one's going to be ebony. And that third one is going to be fluid. Okay, so let's... Okay, I've got another comment. Scott, I don't know if you missed anything significant. It's just been my normal babble with people asking the occasional question. And me, I did a couple of Codebreaker games, and now I'm doing the Octortle. So, it's just the same old, man. Yeah, right on, Lockhander. Pop, 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 pop. Okay, what is this last couple of words here? Oh, drink. There's the D down there. Okay, that gets that. And then now, what is this? I'm not seeing what that... I was going to say women, but there's the L in it. So what is that making it? My brain is stuck on that whole thing. Up, 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 up. Ah, welcome. I'm glad you're here, Scott, too. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's, you know, the more people, the better. Yeah. Man, okay, I'm drawing a blank here again. I may have to go use a tool. What do we have here? Yeah, I think you're right, Tim. Oh, novel. That's what it is, isn't it? Right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Yeah, there we go. Again, I'll move myself out of the way for a minute. Oh, I keep grabbing the wrong thing. There we go. There we go. All right, so now everybody can see the words if you care to, right? There's the end result of my efforts. I mean, they give you a score. I think it's like golf, the lower the score, the better. But to be honest, I'm not really that concerned with scores. I kind of just, was I able to solve them all, really? That's all I'm interested in. Oh, you know what I'll do after this? Let me play one more of these. I'll play one more of these, and then I'm going to go play Exortal. I don't know if I've played that in a public fashion yet. Maybe I have. I just can't remember. If somebody remembers better than I, you can let us know in the comments. Okay, just the normal 3, Cushy Joint Freak. So I'm thinking the first word is probably taste, maybe. All right, let me do this one over there. So the 7th word is trick. Okay, so we know that the first one's not taste because the first letter is not a T. Oh, you know what? I bet it's waste, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to say it's waste. No, it's not. Yikes. Okay. All right, the second one's going to be Riley. Okay, Tim, you know, I do remember the one that was the worst one. I don't remember which video it was, but somebody in the comments went off on this whole thing that trying to, well, they accused me of being a child molester. And it was like, what in the world, where did they get that from? But I didn't comment on it, and I didn't need to comment on it because you guys piled on and told the guy to forgive my coarse language, but you all told him to fuck right off, you know? Oh, there you go, Da Vinci, thank you. There we go. So the third one is flash. And now what do we have? Spill, I think, is that. This one over here, I think, is spill. There we go. And I think the last one is maybe, oh, it's goose or moose, isn't it? Yikes. Okay, let me see what else I have, and I'll come back to that. Okay, that one's going to be tweet. Okay. Okay, how many do I have? I have 2 words, but I have 3 guesses left. I'm going to put in gained, because it'll tell me, you know, whether it's goose or moose. It's moose. And aroma, I think, is that one there? Does that fit? I think it does. Yay, got it again. What do you know? Okay, let me move myself and out of the way so you guys can see my fantastic success. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do, as I just mentioned, I'm going to go say, I'm going to play the exortal. Oopsie daisy, sorry about that flash. Yeah, that's this morning's puzzle. So I'll do this here, and I play hard mode. Yikes, I didn't realize this one did all that flashing. Sorry about that for everybody for whom, you know, I know that some people are sensitive to issues like flashing. I should maybe, yeah, I don't know what I should do to. Thanks, Scott. Okay, so this game, it's pretty much the same. It's 5-letter words, but you're doing 2 simultaneously. And sometimes they have something to do with each other, and you get, the puzzle constructs an extra word for you. And sometimes all 3 words go together. Like, well, for example, let me go back to the daily, right? So shark ends up being scary teeth, right? You see how that works? But it doesn't always, right? So it's kind of frustrating. It adds an extra layer to the puzzle. And there it was. I'm just flipping back and forth, and there's all that flashing happening again. Dude, keep your head about you. All right, let's, past is past and whatnot. All right. So again, I still use my trusty trio of words, but I also do plum and waged. So cushy joint freak. Let's see what that gets me. That gets me, oh, and it tells you here, I've got 4 of them that are correct, and then 3 that are in the puzzle but not correct. So I'm going to do plum and waged. And I choose those. Well, you'll see why I choose them, right? So that gives me all the letters except for the rare ones, which are Q, Z, X, and V, right? And usually from context, I can tell by then if those are the ones that I need. And I'm missing 1, so I have 4 in the right place and everything, and I have 5 that are in the puzzle but not correctly placed. So it's, again, a bit like Code Breaker in that regard. But a lot of times when it's a 9 like this, it means one of them is doubled up. So here, let's see what this might be. See, is there, no, I was going to say it could be clack, but the L can't be there. Okay, heart is this. So is this going to be a clued one or not? Anyway, let me see what, I've got a couple of comments here. I love your, the emojis there, the wizard. Tim, it's mixed. Lately, it's mostly compliments or curiosity. People want to know, like, how long I've had it and, how long it took me to get it and, that kind of thing. Hey, my sister is here. If you see Catherine Simmons there, that is my little sister. It is good to see you, honey. Yippee-hi-hey. So now you get to see the silliness that your brother does that is the ASMR world. Okay, so what am I looking at here? Okay, so the vowels are A, E, and O. E and A are placed, but maybe there's a double up. All right, I'm going to put in, I think, chalk. See what that gets me. Okay, yay for chalk. Bump. So where is the O? The O is not placed yet. The E is placed. Is this going to be Venom? Is that going to work? V. The E is placed. The N is not. And it's not yellow in that column. I think it's Venom. What do you know? Right. You see how that works now? That's, you know. Yeah, I often call her Sis. Sis or Sissy, you know, like that. That's a leftover from when we were young. Um, you know, I should, if you don't mind, Sis, I think maybe the next live stream, I'm going to bring down that one picture that's on the bookshelf where you're like, I think I'm like 5 or 6 and you're like, you know, 3 or whatever. It's, you know, at our grandmother's place from back in the day. And I don't know, it's just an amusing, cute little, we're both cute little kids. It's just, you know, it's disgustingly cute. Played the game Everything. No, I have not played that game. I'll have to look into that. All right, cool. I'm glad, Sis. Okay, groovy. I'll try to remember to do that. It's just her. It's just me and her. I'm the oldest brother, and she's the baby sister. I mean, it's just the two of us. Sis, I was telling them earlier because somebody asked about how close we were or whatnot. So I was telling her about, you know, when we were kids and we used to hang out with Gino and Tony. But otherwise, it was, you know, me and you against the world for many years of our childhood. Excuse me, I have to clear my throat. Yikes, that probably peaked out on the... It looks like it did. Sorry about that. I could not move far enough away. So I'm going to play another round of this. Yikes. Yeah, that flashing is really troublesome, isn't it? Okay, again with the trusty trio of words. Oops. Ah. All right, that only gives me 7, so let's put in the next 2. All right. All right, so either one of the rare letters are in it, or I've got some doubling up. There's only 2 vowels, E and O. Those are often doubled. So, Oh, and the K is not at the end, which is very common. So it might be KN something, mightn't it? No, there's no W, so I was going to say known maybe, but that doesn't work. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. Which ASMR channels do I watch these days, if any? I watch ASMR pretty regularly. You know, it's hard for me to answer that question now because, well, there's one part. I watch Maria all the time. Every week I watch Maria at least, you know, a couple of times a week. Actually, several times a week. I probably watch her. I might watch her, you know, every day for, you know, some weeks. Well, not lately, but I used to watch all the time ASMR Marvelous, but no, you're right, Rich. It's not silly, but you know, I tend to be self-deprecating a lot of times, and that just kind of got caught up in that whatever odd habit is. So, but otherwise, I've been watching. See, I can't remember any names because I've kind of just been clicking on people that I don't recognize. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just like to find something that I'm unfamiliar with. But female voice that's soft-spoken. or female voice that's whispered. Those are the things that I like best. Doing any magic these days? Well, you know, I'm not supposed to say such things, aren't I? So what do I got here? Any Eldritch Nightmares? Your questions fit your name. Oh man, okay. I was going to say choke, but the O and the E can't be in the same word unless there's a word that's vowelless. I don't know, I suppose I could burn that word just to place letters in new places. You know, there might be some doubling up. Is Noel with 2 L's? Oops. No, it would be like this, wouldn't it? But there's no W in this. Let's, I don't know, is that a word? Yeah, it is, okay. See, my vocabulary sometimes is just weirdly lacking. Okay, so what is this last one? Wow, wow, wow. Interesting. What is this? It starts with a C. There's no K in it. Oh, chess? Is that what it is? Yeah, what do you know? See, there you go. Sometimes I'm thick as a brick. You know, I'll play one more of these, and then maybe I'll go back to one more code breaker, and then I'll start with the brushes and the jar and that kind of thing. All right, so prepare yourselves. There's going to be another flash, all right? Yikes, there we go. I have to figure some way around that. Maybe I could flip to the other scene and then click that and then flip back to, you know, yeah, I think I'll try that. Okay, so again, with the trio of words, give me 7, so we'll put in plum and waged. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put in waged, why not? Nope, didn't get me anything new. So what do I have? What are the vowels? A, E, and O. A, E, and O. And I have 9, so either one of the unusual letters is in it, or I have a double. You know, I out of habit, I'm going to have to say Maria is my favorite. You know what I mean? It's not because she's just consistently works for me. You know what I mean? And I like her personality. She just seems like such a kind human and generous of spirit. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, she's just a fantastic human being. What's her husband's name? Daryl. And when I first started making videos, they were both really nice to me. You know what I mean? As far as making comments and being encouraging and that kind of thing, you know? So, yeah. So, I mean, I suppose that guy, you know, I mean, I liked her before that, but, yeah. So, yeah, I'll say that Maria is my favorite. Yeah. I also like, although she hasn't done anything in a gazillion years, but Whisper Crystal. Um, and she was doing it back before we all started getting better equipment and all of that. So some of her stuff is very, very lo-fi. But so if you're interested in, and if you like lo-fi, um, yeah, she's at Whisper Crystal. I'll recommend her. Um, hey, Gooby, I am doing well, more or less. Yeah, you know, I mean, all things considered, you know, being a middle-aged guy who's, you know, has all the usual aches and pains and a few extra. But yeah, mostly good, mostly good. Okay, what am I doing here? I do remember the one Lilium. I used to watch her quite a bit. She used to do, she did a couple like with the little moth and that kind of thing. Those are really pretty good. Okay, I'm going to say prong, maybe. Right? Is that, does that fit? Nope. Maybe prone. I'm burning guesses. Nope, the E can't go there. All right, so maybe they don't all go together. All right, where's the G going to go? The G's up at the front. I haven't placed the A either. What am I looking at here? If anybody else sees it, feel free to go ahead and chime in and say, look, idiot, it is dot. Can the A go in the middle? There's nothing keeping the A in the middle, or from the middle. I'm going to say graft. Is there anything keeping that from being? Nope. Okay. Yikes. All right, I have to get this one because if you get one of them right on the very last guess, it'll give you a bonus guess to solve it. So, so the A isn't there. I'm afraid I'm not going to get it. Okay. Prone, have I tried prone? Didn't I do that? Oh, no, see the E can't work because of this E up here, right? So we know that the E's doesn't go there. All right, so the G has to be second, right? Because we can see that because of this one, it can't be the first one. Because of that one, it can't be the third one. Because of that one, it can't be the fourth one. And that can be, so we know G has to go here. So I don't know a word that goes PG. So what is going to go something G? Don't be, you know, Scott, any guess is a good guess. I mean, the idea is to take the guess, but then see if it fits, right? So it was worth, you know, having the suggestion, absolutely. So the only ones I have left, G can't go first, so it's either got to be A or F that is first, but F can't, so it's A is first, so A, G, what? agent, isn't it? A-G-E-N-T. Let's try that. Oh, let's see. Okay, it was agent. So what do we have left? And proof, isn't it? There we go. Yippee-yi-yay. That took a minute, didn't it? Pulling it out at the last minute. Okay, you know what? Let me switch over to here real quick. Right, so I can get off of that. Let me put this one back there. And here, let me do this real quick. I'm going to pause the timer for a minute because I need to go use the little boy's room. So I'll pause the timer so it's not, doing that. And then I will put up this so everybody knows what's going on. And back to there. Okay, so I should be back. Let me put this back over here so I can see what's going on. Bump. All right, it looks like I'm back in business. Okay, so let me see if I can check the comments here. Dot. Cue the elevator music, right? I should do something like that, shouldn't I? I mean, I don't know how to do that with OBS right now. I'm certain that it has the capacity to do that. I'll just have to figure it out. Yeah, and I had some tea this morning to wake up, and then I needed some to just get, so I could, be aware enough to function to do this. Yeah, true enough, sis. All right, so, I'm going to do the brushing of the mics, etc. And then I'm also going to, I guess, chat with you guys a bit. Because I want to run some concepts by you on more than a few occasions. Well, maybe not more than a few occasions. People have asked whether or not I had a Patreon. And I've registered with Patreon, but I haven't done anything with it, right? It's just an empty thing, I mean? There's nothing to see, right? It's not even turned on. It's basically all I've done is register with them. And I hope it's even still valid. It's been a while, so I don't know whether if you leave it inactive, if they, turn it off or not. But I mean, if they did, I'll just start it over. Yeah, Jeopardy music. So anyway, I've had a couple of ideas about what to do with a Patreon. One of them would be to run, you know how they do on NPR, like, it's supported by viewers like you, that kind of thing, right? But I thought about doing it as a tiered thing, either at the beginning or the end. I haven't decided, or not even decided if I'm going to do it yet. That's why I'm going to ask you guys, see what you guys think. But whether it ends up being at the beginning or the end, I would have it be like a scrolling thing, right? That would be like credits in a movie kind of thing. So either I'd do it, if I did it at the end, it would be before the Three Monks thing with the actual credits for all the images and things that I use. Well, and I don't know if anybody ever notices that, but it is Three Monks in a tub, right? So it matches my music channel. I don't know, it just amuses me to do that kind of referencing. Or I'd do it at the beginning as part of the intro. Okay, so but what I would do is I'd have it be in 3 tiers, right? So it would be like, your name would go by large font and slow if you gave, like, say, $5, and it would go medium-sized font and a little bit faster if you give like $3, and it would go smaller font and much slower. I mean, not insultingly, or faster, excuse me, if go faster, not insultingly fast. I still want it to be at a pace that people could read their own names and go, oh, hey, there's my name. So I don't know, well, first of all, does $1, $3, and $5 a month seem, to me, I don't know, that just seems kind of expensive. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And the other thing I was thinking of doing, because that doesn't seem to be sufficient enticement or, value, for that kind of money. So what I was thinking of doing is having it be where everybody who's a member of the Patreon could participate. And what I would do is like there would be choices, right? Like, for example, I was talking about how I'm going to kind of not phase out entirely, but kind of make less frequently the gameplays. So it would be like something like, okay, it's been a couple of months since the gameplay, what do you guys think, kind of thing, and have the people on the Patreon be sort of my focus group, I guess, would be the thing, right? To help me make decisions and guide the channel. Because I do this partially because of my own, I like ASMR or whatever, and I like doing certain things and kind of sharing it with you guys. So that's for me, right, from my perspective. But the truth is, the channel is nothing without you guys. You know what I mean? The only reason that it is successful at all or whatever, the measure of that success is your guys' participation. You know what I mean? So, I'd like to value input. And so I was thinking, if that made sense to anybody, or if that just seemed like not a valuable way of doing a Patreon. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Or do you think I should just not bother with the Patreon and just keep going as I'm going now? So, and there's some suggestions or some... Oh, there's some comments going by. Hey, Ollie. Well, it's going well. You got what? You're down at the last roughly half hour. Oh, you know what? I didn't kick the timer back off. Yikes. I need to do that, because if I don't stick to my roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of what the timer is supposed to be, then my back suffers later for... Does that seem okay, Scott? Okay, cool. What does everybody else think? Do you guys agree with Scott, or... Do I have it? No. Not necessarily a career, but the last job I had, which was quite a while ago now, was when I worked at Aero Paper, the paper company in San Francisco. And the reason I left that job is because of my back, my degenerative disc disease. I couldn't, because a big part of my job was, well, I did a couple of things that were very important for the company that I did. One was I ran their online business called discountshoppingbags.com. So I did everything. I wore all the hats for that. So I dealt with the orders. I dealt with all the bureaucracy on the back end, like working with the purchaser to make sure everything was cool with that. I had relationships with people at the various mills, to make sure that we were getting products properly and the right products, and all that kind of thing. I made sure, and most of the time I was out in the warehouse also. There's the other part of my job, was being out in the warehouse and seeing to the fulfillment, right? Making sure everything got shipped. And, a lot of times me being the one who actually had to go pull boxes off of shelves and, take it over to the scale and put the tags on, the whole thing. I mean, I did at least at one point of the day, I did all the jobs that were necessary for that to do. I mean, there was some people where I got help and assistance here and there, but I was largely responsible for the entirety of it. And then also I had to help with just over the Aero Paper part of it. That was the bigger thing. Mostly it was like being out in the warehouse and making sure everything was where it needed to be so that we could do our jobs. You know what I mean? Because they're outside of me doing the online thing. The other thing that was their biggest flow of money and business and interaction with the public was that they did custom packaging, like for department stores and things like that. They did custom bags. Like there's a oh crap, I can't even think of some of the names of there's a couple of big stores in San Francisco and I can't think of their name right now. Holy mackerel. Oh, how can I not remember that? But so you would see the big shopping bags with their, that would have logos and names and branding on the side of it. And so they printed those for these companies. And that was a big part of their money. But anyways, so everything has to be in place for the people who ran the print shop, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway, so a large part of that job was, the physicality of being in the warehouse. And it wasn't the greatest pay, and it's not super challenging or anything like that from the standpoint of when I was doing computer programming. But it was a satisfying job, you know what I mean? Because it felt like an honest day's work, you know what I mean? And I made enough money that I could live in San Francisco and have a certain amount of savings and a certain amount of spending money, et cetera, et cetera. But having said that, because of my health and my back, I don't have an income anymore, and whatever. I don't want to go woe is me. That's anyway. So I'm hoping I can turn YouTube into at least part of an income. I get a little bit here and there, and it helps a lot, actually, believe it or not. But I'm 58, and I've made some bad life choices, so I don't have sufficient anything for material maintenance of my life, as I get older. So, yeah, I got to do something. Time's getting down there, you know what I mean? Yippee-yi-yay. Anyway, so there you go. I hope that answered the question about career or whatever. I do miss it just because, well, it was an income, and I don't know, there's something of value, I believe, in just doing work, you know what I mean? Just doing something that is, I don't know, constructive in some way. I know we were just selling packaging, and in some ways it's kind of an annoying job because packaging can be really wasteful. But the truth is, most of the packaging we made was paper products, like boxes and bags and this and that. And the mills we worked with were part of, what do they call it? It's the Something Forestry Initiative, where all of these major mills, they're not going into old growth or anything like that. They farm trees. They actually have big tree farms, because it turns out if you do that, it's actually better. They can maintain and manage the quality of the wood that they're using for pulp, etc. And Yeah, it just works out better for them if they basically just farm it. And in truth, it's, what's better all the way around. In that regard, wood is a renewable resource. And if you manage it properly, you can have it indefinitely. The other downside is that the processing of paper can be pretty horrible as far as chemicals and this and that. And I know that there are mills that have gotten in trouble for not handling their toxic waste and things like that properly. And I believe industries have to be regulated in that regard, because the temptation to just cut corners is just too great for a business, right? Capitalism is such that it's not about doing the right thing. It's about acquiring money for the shareholders. That's really what it's about. Anyway, I don't need to gripe about my left-wing nonsense. Anyway, hang on. So let me see. Ollie asks. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Sis, I never thought about it that way, but okay. So Ollie says, did you ever lose your passion for programming? I did lose my passion for programming to a degree, but the truth is I never really had much of a passion for it. I kind of fell into it because I got out of school. I went to school for math. It's a funny thing. I'll give you guys the Reader's Digest version. I'm sure I've said it on here before. So I finished my bachelor's degree, and then I applied for graduation, but I had screwed up this thing that's called the library requirement, which you're supposed to do when you're a freshman or whatever. But I transferred as a junior to San Francisco State, and so I just somehow managed to blow it off, and I did not do this thing called the library requirement. And the point of it is it's supposed to be about teaching you to use the library so you can do your upper division courses, right? So you know how to do the proper research and where to find resources and all that, which I clearly knew how to do because I took those classes and I got A's in them, you know what I mean? But that's not good enough. You have to actually do the thing, and I didn't do it. So they denied me graduation. And the thing is, I got the notification of that denial. So I initially was going to do math because I was going to teach math. But then I came to realize that I don't have the temperament to be a teacher. So I was like, okay, now what am I going to do? And I didn't know exactly what to do. But then an opportunity came up for me to go back to work for an artist I'd worked for many years before. Well, not many years before, but a few years before. And he had relocated himself from California down in La Jolla to Utrecht in the Netherlands. And I had worked for him in the Netherlands before. I guess it was 93. So this is what the time period I'm talking about is 1998. And so he offered me a job to go back to the Netherlands that was going to be a permanent thing. The deal was I was permanently relocating to Utrecht. But then he turned out, everything went sideways and our relationship soured in a really bad way. And to be truthful, I kind of fled the Netherlands because he was really becoming, whatever. I don't want to get too much into it, but I wasn't feeling safe there. You know what I mean? I felt like my physical safety was not good. Like a person broke into my apartment one night, and I can't prove it, but I think he put them up to it. You know what I mean? Because of the way they got in and everything. It was just, because the apartment was upstairs from his atelier, which basically is his workshop, but he had to call it his atelier, you know. Anyway, so after I got back from the Netherlands, I didn't know what to do, and I was staying with my parents trying to figure out what was what. And my dad worked for a company called Docent, anyway, I knew how to program just because my dad is a computer programmer, and when I was a kid, I learned to program on an Exidy Sorcerer, anyway, so I knew how to program, and I had kind of picked up doing some just basic like HTML and JavaScript stuff just because, I don't know, just out of curiosity more than anything. And just to tinker, right? You know what I mean? I'm kind of by nature a little bit of a tinkerer. Anyway, my dad introduced me to a woman who worked kind of parallel with him in the department called Professional Services. That's where they developed custom versions of their product. And she needed some work done, and she didn't have anybody that worked in the department didn't have the bandwidth, so she got the okay to get an outside contractor, And my dad said, hey, you should talk to her, which I'd already met her. And anyways, so the two of us kind of got connected, and I got a job working there. And then that was that. I just started doing programming, and it was all of the programming I did was for having to do with distributing online learning, and a big chunk of it, like the vast majority of it, was through Docent, and there was some proprietary technology. It was the back end of it was very similar to PHP. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it. But over time, I kind of got burned out, and then I got a DUI. I'm sure I've told this story before, and I got a job. I went for an interview for a job in Maryland. It looked like it was going to be a really good fit. And after I got back from the interview, which they flew me over for and everything, I was expecting an offer letter, and nothing came. And so I had been working with this headhunter, and I asked him, hey, could you look into what's going on? And so he did. And then he got back to me and he said, I didn't realize, but you have a DUI. And I said, yeah, I had a DUI, but I paid the fines. I did the court time. I didn't damage anything. I rolled through a stop sign late at night and I got popped. I mean, it was as simple as that. But because I had the DUI on my record, they wouldn't hire me. And then he dropped the other bomb on me, which was, I'm sorry, and I can no longer help you find work. In fact, you probably can't work in the industry anymore. That's on your record. Nobody's going to hire you. And I went, you've got to be kidding me. It has nothing to do with my ability to be a programmer. But it didn't matter. So I got blackballed for a little while. I don't know. I mean, I could maybe go back. I don't know. Maybe it's been long enough. But that's why I stopped doing it. So there you go. I'm sure I've told that story before, but there it is. I told it again. God, what a horrible thing. That's not very ASMR-ish, is it? Well, sorry about all of that. Let's get off of that nonsense and let me get back to the comments. Would I like to make it to 90 or 100? Yes, I would absolutely like to make it to a ripe old age. I just have too many creative projects and things I'd like to see on the planet that I could easily keep myself busy for, several decades. But so due to that, I should, get back into, being more rigorous about trying to get my physical health in better shape. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I was only there for 3 months. Well, the first time I was only there for 3 months because that's all I could be on a visa. You know what I mean? Because I technically wasn't really working there. I was just kind of there on his invitation. And but that was back in '93. Although I was working for him, but it was kind of under the table, so to speak. And the second time, it was, like I said, it was going to be a permanent relocation. But there's this whole weird process you go through to get, kind of an extended visa. But so initially I was there just on my passport visa. And we were trying to do the bureaucracy of getting it to be, a more permanent thing. And it just takes time. So I was only there for that that initial time period. And when I fled, well, the other thing is he owed me money, which was really horrible. So I didn't have very much money. I wasn't sure what the hell I was going to do. But I have I know I've mentioned before, I have a friend, a very, very close friend in the UK. He's the art instructor guy. Teaches at the time he was teaching in Bournemouth, I think. He lived in Southsea and was teaching at some college in Bournemouth. But now he teaches in Chester. Anyway, so I headed to his house. I tried calling him. This is like before cell phones and stuff, right? So I called him and left a message, and I just decided I'm just going to go to the UK and hope that he'll let me crash on his couch until I can figure out what the hell I'm doing, and which is what I did. And then that's how I made my way back to the States, was via, because I had a plane ticket, because when I went there, it was, oddly enough, it was cheaper for me to buy a round-trip ticket, even though I probably wasn't going to use the return ticket, than it was to buy a one-way ticket. And I was like, I didn't understand how that economically made sense. But anyway, that's what happened, So, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Tim says, Superman and his family, right? Man, I'm sorry to hear about that, Tim. That can be, yeah, I know it's like, because, well, given my current situation, my financial whatever, it sucks right now. I have to climb out of that. But so I feel where you're coming from, man. It's a rough thing. I hope you can figure out a way of turning it around, man. I really do. Anyway, let's try and get on more positive topics. I don't know what it is about. I always end up, because I don't know. I feel like I get onto negative topics too often on these live streams. I have to make a concerted effort to steer clear of that kind of thing. Okay, it looks like I just got a notification just popped up on the screen. There's going to be an ad showing up. So for those of you who don't have premium YouTube, you're about to get stuck with an ad. I don't know what the deal is, but YouTube wants to run ads on the live streams. And I don't know how to make them not do it. Anyway, I'm sure there's some checkbox somewhere, but yeah, anyway, so there it is. Warning, it's coming up in like 25 seconds. There's going to be an ad. Or maybe it's already running, and that's what the 20-second countdown is. Maybe it's not that it's showing up. Maybe it's that it's already showed up. It's not terribly clear. The way they do it is just not... Oh, I guess there's a thing there I could click to skip it. I don't know. Anyway, rainbows and sunshine. Yeah, rainbows and sunshine. You know, just, well, I guess I'll wait till people come back from the ad. I don't know how long it runs for or anything like that. And again, like, I'm not sure that the notification I had was, I think it's to warn me or whatever, but anyway, so I think the ads are happening now. Well, if anybody's back from having seen the ads, I'm curious to know what ads are running. You know what I mean? Who is it that's decided on my live stream it's valuable enough to spend money on? Well, yeah. What did... Hey, Sir John. Yeah, way back when YouTube didn't have ads. That's crazy, huh? I don't know what their revenue stream was, or, you know, I have no understanding of how that worked back in the day. In any case, Sir John, you've showed up at the end, so there's only like, well, you can see the timer. Okay, so you didn't get an ad, all right. Maybe they just didn't do it. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, thanks, User47. I appreciate your support in that kind of idea anyway. Okay, yeah, go ahead and skip them. I'm not, you know. I mean, part of me, I don't want to begrudge YouTube the ads because it's their scene, isn't it? It's their toys, you know, and they're letting me use it. They don't charge me a fee to be able to put things up or anything like that. So in that regard, you know, it's fine. So, you know, I don't know. It's the thing that bothers me. Oh, hey, Space Cowboy, I didn't even see you show up. Sorry about that. Well, I'm glad you could show up, Sir John. As well as you, Space Cowboy. What was I saying? I feel like I was saying something about the YouTube thing in there. Oh, they're always... They haven't forced it yet, but there's these boxes on the back end when I, you know, go to publish my videos and monetize them about how ads can run. And they're always pushing having mid-roll ads, which means it would be an ad during the programming, right? And I don't, it's like, they clearly don't understand what's going on at sometimes, right? Because ASMR, don't run ads in mid-roll in an ASMR video. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like you're going to alienate, well, whatever. Yeah, that's my take on it anyway. So Lock Ender, was it the bank ad like my sister saw? Or did you see the bank ad? Because it was Armin27 said it was a bank ad. So is it the same ad for everybody, or do they, I'm never quite sure how their ad thing plays out, frankly. I'm just curious because I occasionally watch this guy. Oh, hello, Mario, I guess. Excuse me. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but the channel name, I think it's The Friendly Atheist. I watch him every now and again. And it's funny, he's an atheist guy, and he tries to live up to his moniker of Friendly Atheist. He's not trying to be a jerk about anything, but like PragerU runs ads on his channel, which is like, what? I don't know why that's, Yeah. Okay, so for you it was a truck ad. All right, well, I guess they just show whatever ad they think is appropriate for whoever the person is by demographics, I suppose, or maybe it's by location. Oh, okay. Well, okay, so I guess that's what it is. It must be I'm wondering if it's by demographic or if it's by geographic location or some combination thereof. That's going to be my guess. It probably is the combination thing, isn't it? Hmm. Online university. That's funny. Well, that's okay. At least that's an education, right? I think education's a good thing. People should be educated. Frankly, I believe, well, I'll give you my left-wing nonsense. I think being housed and clothed, having access to healthy food, and being educated to the degree of being able to actively and effectively participate in society, those things should be human rights, by my opinion. None of us asked to be born, at least that's my belief. I suppose other people have different religious beliefs that would be different than that. But, from an observable phenomenological thing, none of us asked to be born. We have no knowledge of that. At least I don't. Nobody else I know does. But the truth is also, on my other channel, I even did a video about this, that as biological fact is that humans are a cooperative species. You know what I mean? That's our survival strategy. There's a lot of animals that, do a very similar thing. I mean, we're very good at it. We have technology that's, chimpanzees use sticks to get termites, but our technology is way, way more advanced than that, obviously. But nonetheless, we're a cooperative species. Like, I don't grow the food I eat. I didn't make the clothes I wear, all this stuff, right? You know what I mean? So I think it behooves us to take better care of each other than we do, And there's, religions that echo that very sentiment, Do I plan to vote? Yes, I'm going to vote this year, and I'm going to vote for Biden. He's not my favorite. I mean, he's nowhere near as progressive as I would like to see somebody be. But the truth is somebody that's as progressive as I would like to see probably isn't electable in the United States. But the truth is, from my perspective and all, reasonable analysis of the situation, the current strategy of the Republican Party is to dismantle our democracy. You know what I mean? They're actively trying to take away people's access to voting. They're actively pursuing furtherance of it, but they've succeeded to a degree in denying women access to, things that will allow them to control their own reproductive rights, and bodily autonomy. And there's another thing I'll throw out there, just like maybe this is me just being a left-wing paranoid guy, but the truth is, if the current interpretation that the Supreme Court did of Roe v. Wade, that's a foot in the door. That's a precedent now for the government having a say-so in your biological integrity. You know what I'm saying? And if an authoritarian government is what we end up with, that they will pursue that. It's just an observable thing anyway. I shouldn't bitch about politics on this channel so much. That's what my other channel's for. So I apologize for that. It's not very ASMR-ish. Okay, we're getting down to within the last 10 minutes, so I'll wrap up the brushing here, which I don't think was a terribly successful session of brushing this time around. But so that way I'll just be doing the, just rapping with you guys if there's any last minute comments and the like, and if you guys have any questions and whatnot that you want to do. Oh, also in a few minutes I'll do the, well, I'll just wait till the end of the timer. At the end of the timer, I'm going to do the, come up with the new date, you know what I mean, with the coins and the dice thing. So let's see what I got. So some people are agreeing with me. Yeah, you know, as all things considered, Tim, I agree with you. There are things that have been, well, I've been directly affected. I was still carrying student loan from back when I was a student, and mine has been forgiven, which is a huge thing for me. You know, and there's other things that he's done. I mean, trying to get us on the right path with, you know, the green stuff and all of that. My idea on the conflicts in Europe and the Middle East. Oh, do I want to delve into that? Russia's, what Russia's doing is illegal. You know, they need to be out of Ukraine, and Ukraine should have Crimea back. Those borders were agreed upon back in the 90s, and Russia signed those treaties. You know what I mean? They're violating a treaty that they agreed to back in the day. You know, they try to hem and haw about this and that, but everything they're hemming and hawing about was prior to those treaties. When the Soviet Union came down, the borders were drawn, and everybody signed those things. And Russia was offered an opportunity to come into NATO and other, you know, organizations of, European cooperation economically and all of that. But they wanted a fast track, but they didn't want to commit to human rights stuff. So the West wouldn't fast track them, and then they got, you know, butthurt and didn't want to do it. Yeah, thanks, Scott. Yeah, that's what it is at WC Postman. That's the one where I gripe about things. My other channel is the at 3 monks in a tub. I usually put it in the descriptions of my videos. You can find it. It'll say like my music channel is at 3 monks in a tub, and my other channel I'll make some, like it's, you know, the old man ranting at the sky or some crap like that. And that's the WC Postman one, because that's just my name, William Charles Postman. Yeah, I agree with you, Tim. Okay, if I missed any other comments. I'm glad that I just realized I skipped over the comment. I'm glad that you found brushing relaxing. I hope other people did as well. Oh, and my opinion about the Middle East. I am not a fan of the acts that Hamas did that brought it to the state that it's in now. But the truth is, I believe there should be a Palestinian state. And I think that's that. And yeah, I think that there needs to be a Palestinian state, and there needs to be something agreed upon that will be a regional security force. To me, these things seem that they should be doable. And to me, I look at it as being very frustrated that it's, for whatever reason, is not. I mean, I'm not in the rooms. I don't know. I can't hear what the people are talking about across those tables. But humans should take better care of other humans. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. I mean, that's clearly an oversimplification of issues, but there you go. My basic, simple opinion on the thing is there should be a Palestinian state. Yeah. Okay, anything else? Or maybe I'll pick up the paintbrush again. Just we're getting down to the last couple of minutes here. And then, like I said, I'll do the dice and coin for the next live stream. Yeah, I'll go ahead and brush for the last little bit of time here. Why not? Can brush everybody out in peace, yeah? Do I have a favorite president of the past 50 years? Let's see, 50 years would be within my lifetime, so since I was 8. So what's that? Since 73. I think Carter was okay. I think Nixon was pre-Carter. Ford was ineffective. He didn't do anything that was valuable. Nixon, let's see, was he out by 73? I can't remember the dates of that. I'll just start with Nixon anyway. Nixon was clearly a crook, Watergate and all that. But it was unnecessary. I mean, that was done because of his paranoia and wanting to, ensure his own reelection and all that kind of nonsense. Polls indicate that he was probably going to win anyway. But I have to give him credit for going to China. That was the smart thing to do. Carter, I think, was a good president. We all know about the Iran-Contra thing, or if you don't, go look up into it. That's how he kind of got screwed. Reagan was a disaster. I know he likes to take credit for the fall of the Berlin Wall and the dismantling of the USSR. People like to put that on he's the one that, no, he didn't. It was internal to the Soviet Union. I mean, clearly the conflict economically with the West contributed to those things. But it's way more complicated than that, and it's oversimplified and wrong for us to claim the fact that we did that. Thanks, user 47. I'm trying to think of other presidents. Yeah, I think Clinton was okay. I mean, he was good for the economy. And I liked Obama for the most part. I mean, clearly there are the issues around the drone strikes and like that with, people who getting killed who shouldn't have been getting killed. So, there's problems, all over the place. But yes, I don't know. It's like, for the same kind of idea that I couldn't, pick a favorite decade. It's hard for me to pick a favorite president. You know what I mean? They all have their pluses and minuses to a certain degree. Like as much as I dislike Reagan, the one thing he did do was set up the amnesty program for people who had been living in the States for a period of time who didn't have legal status. He provided a path that they could gain legal status. And I actually had something to do with that for a while. I was working in the educational system as an instructional aide, and I worked at a school where they were doing the programs for English as a second language and civics classes for those people who were participating. Oopsie daisy. There goes the timer. So let me turn off its little buzziness. Okay. Well, there you go. I hope I've finished up my... All right, JFK and Johnson. I have a lot of respect for Johnson. I mean, he was a bit of a screwball and a bastard. I mean, if you've ever heard those tapes of him and the conversations he had. But, I mean, he's largely the force behind the civil rights stuff getting through. So that's a really good thing. Okay, so I need to set aside a little space here, and I will get out the dice and the coin for my little cup. Oh, you'll get a kick out of this, cat. I store my dice and the coin I used for scheduling my next live stream. This is the cup that Great Grandpa gave me. That has my name on the side. Okay, so first off, let's pick a date. I'm just going to skip one weekend and do the next one. So next weekend is the weekend of the 1st, it looks like, of June. So we'll skip that weekend, and it will be on June 8th. Where's my pencil? So I can mark it down on this little notepad. So we're talking about, oh, wait a minute, the weekend of June 8th or 9th. We don't know which day it's going to be yet, so 8th or 9th. Let's see which one. Okay, let's do the, well, let's do this. Let's do the day first. So it's heads at Saturday, tails at Sunday. And it's come out at, I can't read it. My eyes are so bad even with these glasses. Okay, it's tails. So it'll be Sunday again. And now let's do the time. All right, so it will be 11 p.m. on Sunday. No, that's not right. 11 a.m. on Sunday. I'm sorry, because it's going to go from noon Saturday to noon Sunday, right? That's how it goes. So 11 a.m. Sunday the 9th. All right, so I hope that can work for everybody. I mean, I'm trying to do the random thing just because I feel like that's the best way to, you know, be fair to as many time zones as I can. I don't know. And if people don't like that, I guess just let me know. And because I can be open to changing it. I'm just trying to figure out a way of giving as many people an opportunity to see it, you know, at a reasonable time, you know. Anyways, that's the idea. Okay, so. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's good to have things that from past ancestors, I believe, as far as physical little tokens. You know what I mean? Almost like talismans. You can kind of you feel like you have a physical connection to somebody from your past. I think that can be useful. Okay, well, that's the end of that. This is the end of this stream. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. And again, so it's going to be again one more time. It's going to be June 9th, Sunday at 11 a.m. Right? So I will see all you guys then at, well, you know, Sunday the 9th, right on. Aloha, siblings. Da, 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 da.